Hi folks, so I just wanted to do a short video about the responsibilities that we as koi dealers have. When koi come into the country, they can bring illness, disease, parasites, you name it. First point of contact for those fish is with the importers and dealers. So it's those or us that have responsibility to make sure the fish are healthy and free from disease. So it might be, it can be obvious just by looking that a fish has got an issue, but it might not be, so obvious. So this is where the real responsibility of a reputable dealer starts, really. So there's a number of ways dealers can sort of further mitigate any issues. I'm just going to mention a few. We're at Living Jewel Koi. This is what we do. So we use something called heat ramping. Many of you'll have heard of it. It's a process where the water's heated up to mid-20s, held there for a period, and then it's brought down rapidly to below 12. Temperature is held there for a period, and then it's increased, back up to the mid-20s. So we use a minimum of 2 heat ramps. So that's, if fish show no ill signs, then that's the job done. We'd repeat up to 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times if it were deemed necessary. So if a fish don't quite look right or whatever, but in a nutshell, process of heat ramp works because it works by stressing the koi, which in turn encourages any underlying illness to show. So to go to a stage further, we also introduce a naive koi, which is, you might have heard, is classed as a canary fish. It's another layer of protection because if one of the newly imported koi has an issue, then there's a very real chance that the canary koi will become infected. So that obviously makes us aware that, there's an issue and they don't get sold on. If all goes well with no ill effects, this process takes a minimum of 4 weeks. Unfortunately, not all dealers take this biosecurity measure seriously. And incredibly, there's no government legislation which requires the quarantine of newly imported koi, which is mind-blowing. So then it becomes about doing the right thing, a moral issue. So, i.e., what's the most important thing to the dealer? Doing the right thing or making a quick penny? So before I go, I just want to be clear that there's many good, responsible and reputable dealers available that do things properly, and there's one I can think of who I know heat ramps for a period of 12 weeks. So there are some good guys out there, but sadly it seems a growing number of dealers are cutting corners. As an example, I've seen 2 dealers recently advertise online that they've got koi ready for sale, and I know exactly where those koi have come from and when they received them. One of those companies is well established as well. They've had those particular koi, or they did have when they first started advertising them for sale, for just 3 days. So there's no way they can assess the health of those fish in any depth and any risk they might pose in 3 days. There's not a chance. So basically, any unknown customer putting those koi in their pond, they're using their existing stock as the canary fish, effectively. So what can you do to reduce the chance of putting quarantine koi in your pond? Well, there are a few things. So this is not exhaustive. There'll there'll be other things you can do, but sort of one, you can look back through dealers' recent social media or website. They might give an indication of when the import arrived with them, and then you can calculate the time elapsed from then until when they're advertising them for sale. And then you know, it's up to you to consider whether that's a reasonable period of time to have done a suitable quarantine. Two, if you're able to visit the premises, in fact, if you're not able to visit, you should still be able to ask for proof of the paperwork showing when they arrived. Three, you can also ask what quarantine process has been done. And four, again, a record should be kept by all dealers showing inspections, water changes, treatments, etc. If it can't be presented, then walk away. Of course, 5, look for reviews or ask all well-respected people in the koi keeping trade. You know, it becomes quickly known who to avoid and who to trust. So, I mean, we can all do his bit to keep the hobby safe and enjoyable. Quarantining is expensive and it's time consuming. So, you know, please support those of us that are doing it right. Because we've got VATs taken up with quarantine fishing, while these unscrupulous are literally in, out with the koi. So, even if you buy, you know, from a reputable dealer, there are no guarantees. So it's good practice to do your own quarantine if you can when you buy the koi. But if not, as many people are unable, it's not practical, you can choose to do a salt bath, PP, potassium permanganate bath, or even chloramine tea. It's quick, it doesn't cost anything really, and it just provides a, you know, extra peace of mind. Anything else? Well, I just want to finish really, I suppose, by saying we've all got a duty to do what we can to reduce, you know, unnecessary hurt or suffering, as we are dealing with live animals, as is often forgot. They're not ornaments. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you find it helpful. Take care. See you soon, and happy koi keeping.